Allison has a few partners in crime over there at the Screen Door Story Slam, our friends. One of them is this man that I have never met until this day. I would tell you funny things about him, but I don't know any except for the fact that his name is Rob, and Allison vouches for him. So, hey, let's find out more about Rob. Come on up to the stage.
Webster's dictionary defines I'm fucking with y'all, my hot frogs. No, we're not going to do that. So retool is a great word. I'm going to drop a little bit of etymological science on you guys just because I actually did some research before I came here tonight. It dates back, it's an old English word, and really the only thing you need to know about it is that it can mean both implement and weapon. Keep that in mind. But essentially, I like the word so much, and I like this theme for this art exhibition so much because it refers to something that is created from disparate parts. To reinvent something is hard work. Invention requires the mind of an inventor, the hands of an inventor. Retooling requires the skill set of a mechanic. And so you can start from something that is imperfect. You can use shitty tools to build it, but it might function and it might be art. When I was 25, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 20. Anyway, I used to think I was David Foster Wallace, right? A lot of young men go through this. I thought media criticism was my game. I thought that I had so much to say about people that other people had said so much about. Went up to Boston for a pop culture conference, thought that music that tested the boundaries was more important than music that was good. And I went through that. We all go through that. It happens. But that was me at 25. And one thing I took away from that age was essentially the concept of retooling in media criticism, which refers to when a show is not performing well, that can be either critically or commercially, no one's watching it, everyone hates it. To retool it is to pull it off the air and try to fix it. Essentially, it means that maybe a character isn't working, maybe a character doesn't have the proper motivations, maybe a character makes no sense, maybe a character has the wrong actor. You pull it, you replace them, you run it again. Used to be 10, 15 years ago, people kind of had shorter memories when it came to media. We didn't really know, we didn't know everyone's name, we didn't have IMDb, we didn't have all these websites, HitFix wasn't around, we didn't know. And that was pretty much when I was at my media criticism peak, apex. But it goes back further than that. When I was 19, I decided to reinvent myself. We all go to college and decide to reinvent ourselves if we choose to go to college, and we choose to reinvent ourselves. I'm assuming I'm the universal here, which is an asinine belief. I don't know why I'm doing that. Oh, I'm a white male. Yeah, I get to do that. But anyway, so when I was 19, I went off to college, and I thought I was T.S. Eliot. I did. I am a little humiliated to say I tried to get people to call me Young Possum. Yeah. Yeah. We are really getting into it tonight. You guys are on a journey with me, and I'm loving it. But I wrote a bunch of poetry. This is sort of the level of arrogance that I was operating with at the age of 19. I wrote a poem in Britlit 101, and that afternoon submitted it to the New Yorker. Yeah. So that happened. Has anyone here ever submitted to the New Yorker? Yes, my man Worthy, you know it, yes. They take like 3 to 6 months to reply back, right? They do? Yeah. That's true. I got my rejection later that evening. So I went through that a couple years. I was in college. I dropped out. I did that thing. I moved out to the Outer Banks, decided to reinvent myself again. And I swear to you, I did not talk to Allison about her story. I didn't even know really what I was going to say fully until this afternoon. But I went through my own Bukowski phase. Not to a certain dark depth, but to the extent that you get tipped in weed, you learn to home roll cigarettes with dried lavender sprigs, you do this shit, and you don't need to do it, but your body convinces you that you do because it's the only way to make art. So, I would show up to work, we'd have Whiskey Wednesdays, you had to kill a bottle of whiskey between the hours of noon to 4. It's doable. It is doable. It's not fun, but it's doable. And so from the age of about 21 to 23, that was kind of my life. I was convinced because I didn't have any frame of reference, any perspective, context, or any kind of self-awareness that my tigers had found me and I was cool with them. The thing about tigers is that they're really good at what they do. You are a bag of soft, shitty meat, and a tiger is designed to eat you. Don't fucks with tigers. I cannot say this enough times. Don't do it. So yeah, that was me at 23. And then at 25, I decided to reinvent myself again, do the whole empathy thing. You know, obviously the misanthropic, like, you know, the self-destructive slash, self-effacing, not necessarily self-destructive pattern didn't work. Give it another shot with empathy. Learn a little more, model yourself after somebody who didn't end well either, but at least had for 20 or 30 years there a fair amount of perspective on this whole American thing. And that worked for a while. You know, you like yourself a lot more. When you're going to the gym, when you're eating well, when you are driving a lot and thinking a lot and reading a lot, it's a good way to grow. But it's not a way to live, because at a certain point, the TV show comes back on the air, doesn't it? And you have to sink or swim with the tools that you have available, because they're not going to give you another chance. And so when I was about 26, 27, 28, I'm 30 now for the record. I don't know if we need some kind of context. Yeah, you know it. You're high school 04, my man. But I discovered, like, I was surprised to realize that you don't need to model yourself on somebody else. That worked for a little while. And then I, realized that what I'm doing is living my life by another writer, as we all do. But I'm living my life as Rob Bockman. I'm a writer. From when I was 19, from when I was 19 to when I was 29, I would not admit that. Like, straight up would not admit that. People would be like, oh, you're a writer? And I'd go, no, I write. No. But I would not admit it. Like, I would be writing. I would be actively sitting there writing a short story longhand, and someone would say, oh, you're a writer. No, I just write. But I learned when I was about 29, 30, so very recently, that I am a writer. And that I could be Rob Bockman, not Charles Bukowski, not T.S. Eliot, not, T.C. Boyle, not anyone but myself. Because, I retooled. And I would just like to note, retool, I know every connotation, every nuance. I am the very model of modern major general. But the fact of the matter is that the first usage of the word tool as a euphemism for penis was 1550. I am a tool, and I am proud to be a tool. And so thank you all.